Greetings, 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 and welcome again to yet another girl. Who don't you know? Yeah, it is Marilyn Green. You know me. I'm the THEE hostess with the mostest. And hey, I'm just so happy that you decided to tune in today. Now, do me a favor. You know what y'all do. Like it, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please do that. Please plan to join me next time, but this time, oh wow, I got a subject that I've always wanted to talk about it, okay? And I can be full disclosure, that it's about grieving loss, okay? Now, grieving loss, most time people think about someone who is what has died a physical death. But have we ever just taken the time to think about sometime if you've never been through a divorce? Okay, I've been through two. If you've never been through a divorce, what about the person that you lose, but they're still alive? How do you deal with that when you see them in the grocery store, right? Or you see them at a concert, or you see them at church, they are still living, but the relationship that you had with them is no longer there. So how do you deal with it? So I'm scrolling through Facebook. I'm gonna give you all the whole thing. I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see this particular person talk about a book that says Grieving the Loss. Let me get the right name for it. Here it is. How to Survive When the World Around You Dies. And I'm like, wow, now what is she talking about? So I got the book. I only read like one part of it. And I told her, I said, I didn't have time to read everything, but that one part that she said was enough for me because she said, or someone said in reference to her book, hold on, nobody teaches you how to grieve someone who is still alive. That's in her book. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to let my guest, Dr. Candice, I think it's a C in between her name, Cox. Dr. Candice Cox, who is a therapist. She's an author, international speaker. She's a trainer, founder of Chaos, KHOAO. I'm getting it right. KHAOS mindset. Okay, Dr. Cox, Candice, how are you today?
Great day. I am doing amazing. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing it, girl. I'm doing it. Okay. I am so happy that you are here. And like I said, to explain, man, nobody that I know of has ever tackled that subject, but it's a subject that needs to be tackled. Now, let me just start off and say, how did you get chaos? Where did that come from? Chaos. That
So,
name.
so I say regular chaos, CHAOS, is when you can't help acting out severely. We all had them
Okay.
moments where it's like I shouldn't have pulled up over there, probably shouldn't have returned that text message, shouldn't have took that
Right.
call, but here we are. And my chaos is KHAOS, which stands for keep healing and overcoming struggles. And so, with me
Oh,
being a therapist, I teach people that life happens, but just because life happens, it doesn't mean that it has to stop. We all have the ability to create a new normal as we keep healing and overcoming struggles. So that's the mindset.
gotcha. I got it. And it's a mindset that we really need to keep on everything, not just
Mm-hmm.
this subject, just
Oh yeah.
everything. Just
Oh yeah.
just keep on moving, keep on moving. Okay.
Yeah.
So with next question, how did you decide to say I'm gonna write a book about this? Okay. Where did that come from?
So when I first separated, so I separated from my ex-husband. We were married for 13 years in a relationship for 17. And so we separated in 2018. 2019, we actually finalized a divorce. My whole world fell apart. And then
Mm.
and then 2020, COVID hit. And so I had no choice
Oh,
but to sit in whatever it is that I had going on. And so
wow.
everything that I have used to help other people heal, I had to lean on it for myself. And so with chaos, we have skills: free, raw, reset, and patient. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
break free, which was I had to forgive, release, embrace, and elevate. I had to get raw. I had to realize, admit, and work through. I had to reset, which is remember every situation, encourage thought. And I had to learn to be patient, which is pause and think, Inhale, exhale, now talk or now tap out. So during the time that I was walking through these things, I was documenting what was happening with me and how I was applying the skills that I had created for others and for myself to heal generational trauma and how I could apply it to this situation. So that's how it came about.
Okay, let's stop, put a pin right there. You
Mhm.
said generational trauma.
Yes.
So is divorce and all that in your family or
Oh yeah, divorce
okay.
is in my family, and not even just divorce. It's all type of stuff. Relationship problems with mamas and mamas, abandoned daddies, abandoning family members, like all that. Verbal abuse, all that is in there. But divorce, yes, my mother has been divorced twice. My grandmother was divorced. If we keep on going down the line, we got people that have been two, three, four marriages. Different things of that nature. So me saying that I have witnessed healthy marriages, I haven't. I may have witnessed marriages that have lasted, but that don't mean that they've necessarily been healthy.
Okay, you're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you talked about, and I'm looking in the book now, okay? You talked about the raw, the reset, and the patient, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then the raw, the first one is realize. Let's
Mm-hmm.
stop right there for a minute, okay? You realize that I have got to get a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're talking about? Just coming to that part. Tell us a little bit about that.
And so I say accountability is at the root of healing. And so, we can blame everybody all the time for all the things, but we also have to be honest with ourselves about what we chose to accept and how long we chose to accept it. And so I
Mm,
had to realize that the marriage that I wanted is not the marriage that I had. And I had to realize
okay.
that, you know, my ex didn't have the capacity to give me and my kids what it is that we deserve. And so I had to admit that's that A to myself. Like, how did that impact me? But also, what was my role in it? Because there was a long time ago that I had realized that he didn't have it. There was a long time ago that there were things that had happened that I continued to accept, thinking that, oh, it'll change if I stay a little longer, if I pray, if we just work it out, maybe if we go to counseling, maybe if we do this and we do that, that it was going to change. But he never had it in him. And so I had to admit my role in the situation. And then that W was that work. It was time for me to create a new normal. Something had to change.
Wow. I like that. I like the part where you have to start to say, what role did I play? Because
Mm-hmm.
we're always saying, well, they did this and
Uh huh.
he did that. And, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sick of this, I'm sick of that. But the role we were playing was that we kept tolerating it.
Exactly. Because how
The
long was
writing
you
was on
sick?
the wall.
How long was
The
you sick?
writing was on the wall.
I call it.
Yep.
I had a TikTok video that went viral a few years ago. I was on a radio show and I said, some people marry potential and divorce reality. And that's what happened. I married potential. I married who he said he was going to be. I married who I wanted him to be, who I saw him to be, but I divorced who he actually was. And so, oftentimes we have what they call cognitive dissonance, where we see something and we want it to be what we want it to be so bad that we keep on going toward what we want it to be, but everything along the road and the path show us that we ain't never gonna get there.
Wow. But let me tell you something, Candace. But it's just heartbreaking
It is.
that it's, come on, let's just get with it.
It
It's
is.
just heartbreaking when you realize they ain't got it in them.
It ain't it. It
It
is
ain't.
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for you and the situation because you mad at you because you done put in all this time that you can't get back, and you mad at them because they who they showed you that they was, and you ain't want to believe it.
Did not. Did not want to believe it.
Yes.
Did not. I mean, and even in that, let's just talk real and raw here for real. You do have to realize it, admit, and you do need to work through it. This is
Hmm.
true. But
Yes.
it's also what we have to tell everyone. The working through is just not on the 1st of June and you finish on June 30th.
Oh no,
Talk
baby, it's a
about that.
process.
Talk about the
And
walk.
so
Talk about the work through.
That's the thing. I separated in 2018. I divorced in 2019. 2020 was trash. I said, I ain't okay. Ain't nothing new coming out of me. It took me until probably about 2023 before I was like, okay, I'm starting to see the light again, that this makes sense. Because my whole world crashed around me. Not only did I
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with what was happening with me and me going through the anger, the denial, the bargaining, the sadness, and the okay, I see what's happening here, but I'm mad again. I also had two kids, and they was going through it too. So my babies was grieving the loss of the life that they had, and then my ex was losing his mind because I met a man I had never met before in the 17 years that we had interacted. This man that I met during divorce was totally a stranger, and so it was juggling all of that and recognizing that, just like when you grieve the loss of a person who passes away, some days are going to be good, but some are not. And so I say with the work through is intention, attention, and attitude. You move with intention. You move with
Mm-hmm.
intention. You start asking yourself, why am I doing the things that I'm doing? And then attention. You start being aware of who and what you're giving your attention to. Am I constantly complaining? Am I sitting in the wish I coulda, woulda, shouldas? What am I giving my attention to? And start paying attention to your attitude. When your attitude is nasty, when your attitude is negative, then it's on you to do something different because happiness, healing, and peace are inside jobs. And I had to
It
do the
is.
work. I
Yep.
couldn't wait. I couldn't expect for nobody else to do it for me.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Because, but no, you hit on the points. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Before I got ready to record with you today, a particular person told me that they're gonna do their wedding on January the 2nd. Now, that January 2nd is my ex-husband's birthday,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I believe this, that the way that you know that you kind of progressed in healing is that it don't hit you the same way.
It
You
don't.
know, the
Yeah.
the, the process, you be like, it don't make you go to say, you be like just mad. You don't be mad anymore. You just
Yeah.
be like, oh, okay, that
Oh,
was his
okay.
birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right,
And
right.
yes.
So the degree of movement to healing is a degree of movement for
Yes,
real.
it is.
You
It's
are,
it's a journey.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
journey. And
Mm-hmm.
every day you're trying to you're mastering basically, Candace, your emotion.
Yes, you are. You
you're
definitely
you're
are.
you're mastering your emotion and your response to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the work is, when you want to
Yes.
put some work in. And then you touched on something else about the kids. My
Mm-hmm.
son said to me, my oldest son is 43.
Mm-hmm.
He recently, not recent, but a year ago, Mom, you didn't even think about our feelings. And I
Mm-hmm.
sat there and I said, you know what, I sure didn't.
Because I was so
Okay.
busy. I was so busy going through it. And that was something, it was an aha moment for me with me being a therapist. That what I did is I shut me down and threw everything into them. I focused on the kids. I focused on the businesses. I focused on all those things until one day I looked up and I had gained almost 50 pounds. And I
See?
couldn't I couldn't wear nothing but yoga pants because could not a damn pair of slacks or jeans come up these thighs. And so therefore
Come
I
on.
was like, oh, and I had to say to myself, Candice, you depressed. Like you depressed. You got the
Mm-hmm.
responses, the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, and I had frozen.
Mm-hmm.
I had went on autopilot and I was kind of just waking up to go to sleep, just going through the
Yes.
motions. And so it's
Yes.
like I had to tap back into me. And we don't like to do that because when I tap into me, then that mean I gotta sit in it. Then that mean I gotta walk through it. And it feels a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot better just to keep moving. But it don't matter how much you move, eventually you're gonna stop. And when you stop, it's gonna hit you dead in your face.
I
Hard.
mean, it hits hard. It hits
Hard.
hard like a
Tyson
ton of
type hit.
bricks.
Look, Tyson type hits.
Okay, boom. You be like, what's going on,
What is
Candace?
it?
You be like, who turned off the lights? Who
I'm trying to
turned the
bob and
lights off?
weave, but they coming from everywhere. I'm like, all right, I just sit down. Here we go. But
That's
yeah,
exactly right. And I threw myself into my children as well, because it's one thing I said. I was determined that we was not moving out this house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That
I
damn.
was determined they were not getting out of private school. I
Mm-hmm.
was determined. Okay. So I threw myself also into my children. But
Mm-hmm.
it also comes a time, and the time is right now for me, I can admit it, is that I sit down and I said, man, I done everything for everybody. And I'm sitting here and saying, wait a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is it depression? Is it loneliness? Where am I for real about right
Mm-hmm.
now? Coming up, you know what I'm saying? They grown. I exceeded my goal with both of my sons, right? I've
Mm-hmm.
done everything, but still it's me.
Yeah. And
Okay?
now
It's
you
me.
gotta tap back in. I tell people all the time, we be so busy giving to everybody else that we forget that we are the main character in the stories of our lives. We become a
We are.
background person when we the main character.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So when we talk, divorce is not for the weak.
No, oh, it's not.
Divorce, it's not.
It's
It's
not.
not for the weak. It's
Mm-mm.
not.
Because
I say this. I tell people, I say, I've been through 4 divorces, 2 of my own and 2 each one of my children.
mm-hmm.
Okay. So I've been through 4. So I'm a professional at this point. Okay.
You got your PhD in divorcing. You got this. You like,
Hey,
what you
hey,
mean?
hey.
I got
You need
you.
you need some help?
I
Don't
got
call Candice, call me.
you.
Okay. Because
Right.
I can help you out if you really just want to go on and do that thing on divorce, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because divorce, and I'll just say it, divorce is a war. It ain't
Yeah.
no you my friend, okay? I know we talk about getting over it, but I'm just saying in the midst of it, I'll throw this in. It's a war, okay?
Yeah.
You cannot see that person as the way that you thought he was. I
No.
mean, I'm not saying that you don't be I just say don't be nice. Don't play nice because they
Mm-hmm.
ain't playing nice with you. Okay. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're going through a divorce right now, you ain't been through it, don't play nice. Because you're gonna get messed up at the end.
I'm
Okay. You already messed up, your kids messed up, whoever else is messed up, and then you're trying to, well, I really don't want to ask him for no child support because blah blah. No, that's not it. Okay. That is not it.
the
I'm looking
biggest
at your face. Tell us, Candace. Tell
like
us.
the biggest thing is at the end of the day you have to make sure that you are protecting you and yours. Like you have to
Mm-hmm.
make sure because in the midst of divorce people are making emotional, irrational, and impulsive decisions. And so that's where reset comes in. Reset that remember
Mm-hmm.
every
Let's talk about it.
situation encourages thought. That's that taking the time and thinking out, what are the worst, what's the worst case scenario here? Am I focusing this situation on what has happened or fear of what will happen, or am I really looking at what's happening right now so that I can actually
Mm-hmm.
make I can actually respond instead of reacting in certain situations? Because baby, listen, when I tell you I met a different man during my divorce and right after, I was like, sir, what? The way you talking, the thing, what? Like how did we get here? I wrote and supporting the book, I talk about how I cast him for a role that he never auditioned for, and
Uh-uh.
he showed up. I gave
Girl.
I gave him the part in the movie, and he never prepared for it or nothing. And then I'm upset because he couldn't fulfill the role. And I'm like, did I even share with you? Here's this script, and I expected for you to play by this script and to do this, and baby, you did not. But who fault is it? That's where that accountability come in. I gotta be like, all right,
Exactly.
I had to own that, and that's why I say to this day during the healing process, like I tell people, I don't have no problems with that man. I see him for who he is. I see
Mm-hmm.
him fully for who he is. I had to tell him, I will love you until the day that I leave this world, but I am no longer interested in the level of life that you have to offer me and my children. And that's
Come
just
on.
it. I'm just not. And you, I'm not gonna even keep asking you to change, baby. You can be who you are. You can stay this way, but you just can't be this way with me.
That's right. I love that. I love that level of life that you have to offer.
Mhm.
Okay. Listen, the part where you say about change, I told my ex-husband, I said, you ain't got to change, just change your address. You
Yeah.
can't be here anymore.
you, just,
Just
you
change.
can't do you can't do it here. Like you can keep
That's
being
right.
you.
That's
Just
right. That's right.
here.
That's That's all I'm saying, Candace. Change your address. I don't
Yeah.
care if you'll never change, okay? Because you said it best. The level of life that you're wanting to afford here, I'm not willing to take that anymore, okay?
No, I
I'm
don't
not
want it.
willing to take that. Now,
No.
based on that, we change in the middle of all this,
Oh yeah.
okay? We change for a better version of ourselves
Oh
because
yeah.
we had to be at a wrong version, a wrong mindset when we decided to say, this person can, but you find out they can't.
And you still
Where
keep
was you?
trying. So
And
you
still
know,
keep on trying.
so the reality of it is, I talk about it in the book where I talk about my blueprint that I got. I talk about how I married the worst parts of my mother and my father in the same person. And
Come on,
so
stop it.
when you think about it, like my mother, not on purpose, but my mother taught me that love hurt. When everything was good, it was good, but then when it was bad, it was bad. And then my
Mm-hmm.
father taught me that love was inconsistent, that love lied, that love bought gifts, and love was manipulative. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like in the midst of that, when I was engaged in it in regard to a relationship, it felt normal. If it but it wasn't right. And so in regard to growing up and me and my mother having our issues, and my mother like, ain't nobody gonna love you like I love you, and I'm the only one that's gonna be here. I get into it with my ex-husband, and ain't nobody gonna love you the way that I love you. I'll love you if you wasn't nothing. Why would you not want me to be nothing, sir? Why would you want that for me? Like, let's talk about it.
That's
but
right.
but constantly trying, in those places. And I had to recognize and understand that, what toxic love was, what trauma bonds
Mm-hmm.
were, and to recognize what I was in. So therefore, I could unlearn the things that I had thought were right during life and relearn new ways of doing things. And when I
Right.
started relearning, when I started loving me, when I started recognizing what it looked like for me to be happy, healthy, and whole, I realized that he wasn't a part of that equation.
Wow. Wow. And I like that too. I mean, man, you got it going on, Candice Cox. I am gonna read this book, okay?
Thank
I ain't
you.
lying. Look,
Look,
I
please
could be straight.
continue.
I'm straight up raw. I'm straight up raw. I'm like, I do need to read this at this point, okay? So I'm not playing. But okay, so you said about that combination. You married a combo. You had a two
Hmm.
piece. You had a
Yes,
two piece, okay?
yes.
Two piece combo,
Hmm.
okay?
Hmm. With a
Super
biscuit,
size,
and
super
it was
size.
dry. Go ahead. It was a pop biscuit with no jelly. Go ahead.
Nothing, nothing. Everything was messed up. They didn't give you nothing on it. It was just
Nothing.
dry.
No
But
water. No nothing. Go ahead.
that's it. But so in that, once you got through, and I want everybody to please, please, even though I've finished reading it, but it's getting good right here. Go and get the book, okay? It's grieving the loss, how to survive when the world around you dies. And Candace got some really, really nice. She uses simple acronyms like raw, reset, patient, and each one of them, she puts that the R is like realize, for resetters, remember every situation, encourages thought. So everything is simple and easy as a tool to use it, so you can constantly think about it, or as they say, meditate on it, ponder on
Hmm.
it,
Yes.
okay, in
And
order for
baby.
you to walk through. And like I said, I'm not even into the chapter one. I'm still in the little XXIII part, that little part. The Roman numerals part. That's what I'm in, okay? So and even in that, she writes in here, this tool helps you respond instead of react. We talked
Yes.
about that, okay?
Hmm.
Especially in moments when you want to blow up
Yes.
or break down,
Yes.
okay? So let's talk about that acronym of FREE,
Yes.
okay?
Hmm.
Forgive, release, embrace, and elevate,
Yes.
okay? Tell us a little bit about that.
So with free, forgive, forgiving people for not being who you wanted them or needed them to be when you wanted them and needed them to be something in your life. Forgiving
Mm-hmm.
yourself for not being who you felt you needed to be in certain situations. Releasing that are releasing yourself from the unrealistic expectations that you put on folks, because we hurt our own feelings on an everyday basis, expecting us out of other folks. Like, that's the truth. That E is learning to embrace the situation for what it was, for what it is and for what it can be with love and compassion, and rid yourself of the anger, frustration, hostility, and guilt. And then that last is to elevate. I say you change your mind, you change your life. So you go from the why this happened, why he do me like this, why it dragged for this long, why, to WHW. What, how, what happened? How did it impact me? And what am I going to do about it? That's the
Come
thing.
on.
Because you can't just sit in it. Your feelings are yours and you can feel however you want to feel, but what you going to do about it? That's the thing. We have to go from being victims to being victorious in our lives.
Exactly. And I'm listening to you, and it sounds really good, but I'm gonna tell you something, Candice. My mother used to always, when I was going through, she's passed on now. She's always try to talk me through stuff. I mean, sometimes I was so angry, I came in there and I'ma say it. I said, "Ma, I don't want no scripture.
I
Don't
don't
give
want
me
to
no
hear that.
scripture.
I don't want to hear that, miss. Go ahead.
I don't want to hear that.
Yes.
I said, I don't want no scripture." And I'm
Yes.
saying that because if I had to put Candice on my show, when I was going through 2003, 2000, all that, I can't listen to you.
You wouldn't have been able
You
to hear me.
ain't going nowhere in my head, Candice. I'm telling you right now, okay?
That's why I wrote the book, because I was like, you can read it in the front of the book. I say turn the pages out, but hold on to them because you might need them later. But you can read
Exactly.
it, you can write, you can cry, you can go back. It's yours. Take your time and get through it. But at the end of the day, come get this healing.
That's it. That's it.
At the end of the day,
I like the way you put that, Candice, because you may not be ready for this book, but you are ready. Okay?
Exactly.
You're ready for it. But you did say in here somewhere about take your time or something I read.
Yeah,
take your time.
When I say how to use it.
Yeah, you said something about go through it, but take your time with it, because I'm telling you, if I had a caught up with her about then talking about this, and like, girl, look, get out of my face. I don't want to hear this. My stuff, Candice, I said, my stuff is legitimate. You don't know what you talking about. I don't care if you are a therapist. I don't care what he did,
how he made me feel, and I'd be like, baby, I get it, I completely understand. But at the same time, that man going on by his business. Why you still gonna sit in it? You gotta come on now. We gotta walk it through. You gotta walk it through, and that's the only way to the other side is through. And that's the part that we gotta understand. No matter when you ready, you gonna have to go through it.
Yeah, and you have to go through it. It ain't. You can't even get around. There ain't no detours.
And you can't get around it. You can't go over it, because you get around it, you gonna realize that a part of your sweater got snagged, so you dragging some of it with you. You go over it, and some of it on your shoe. You ain't got no choice.
That's right.
You gotta go through it.
You gotta go straight through it.
To
but you ain't got to go through it like boom, I'm done, because you really ain't. You really ain't. That's a lie.
It's not linear, and that's the thing.
No, it's not.
I was just talking to a young lady. I mean, my divorce was final in 2019. And so it was December 16th of 2019. So it's coming back up now. And every once in a while, something happens in the co-parenting journey, because you got kids and it pisses you off. And so you get mad again, but then you gotta it doesn't last as long. I guess I can say that. I'm at a point now I can acknowledge it, I can see it for what it is, and I say that regardless of what he does and how he shows up as a parent, these kids are going to be amazing in spite of. And I take a breath and I thank God for providing me with what I have and providing me with what is needed in abundance. So therefore these kids don't have to want or need for anything. And so it's like I can realize it, admit it, and work through it a whole lot quicker than I used to be able to, because I used to want to call, I'm sending messages, I'm talking bad to you and everything else, because Negro, you got these kids over here. We had these kids together.
Come on.
But what's the point of doing all that, baby? You was in this house. We was together for 17 years. You know what it takes to raise these kids. So what I look like constantly reminding you, go on, do what you gonna do.
That's right. I mean, I love that, because you do. It's a process. If you don't know no other word or get nothing else out of this, it's a process. Okay.
Yes.
You don't be here and then jump over there, because like I said, I could not talk to Candice if she had caught me in 1998, 1990, whatever. You couldn't have caught me because I'm like, oh no, nope, nope. Like I told Mama, I don't want no scripture.
Mm-hmm.
No, I need something else that's not probably illegal. But
Listen, because how I feel, because how I
how I'm
feel,
feeling,
right?
how I'm feeling, the scripture ain't gonna work fast enough for me. How
That
about
ain't
that?
it right there, right, right. And but that's the reality of it. That's why I tell people all the time, baby, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace and give yourself grace and space to walk through it. Like your feelings are yours. You can feel your feelings. Feel them, identify them,
Right.
but you can't stay there. That's the
You
thing. It's
cannot.
like you can't just sit there. You can't sit crisscross applesauce and be like, "This where I'm gonna be forever," because life is going to keep moving with or without you, and it's a whole lot better when you're involved.
That's right. That's right. And I love the part where you say you can't stay there, but guess
Mhm.
what? You still got a choice in that.
Yes, you
Okay.
do.
Now
You always
if
got a
you
choice.
want to stay there, that's on you.
Hmm.
Okay. But it's books out there, okay, such as this one.
Right. People done went
That
through it and they like her. This my journey. Look, now, come on. You ain't gotta go through it by yourself. And that's the thing. I tell people all the time, listen, look, I am like I got a private practice and I tell my clients, I'm like, hey, I'll sit in the darkness with you until you're ready to come out into the light. But I do need you to know that it's light on the other side of this tunnel.
that's right. That's right. And you got just keep it moving.
Yes.
That's my biggest thing. Just keep it moving.
Yes.
Just keep this thing moving
Yes.
because it's life after.
It
Okay?
is.
So,
And
let
it's
me
better.
let me get to let me get to one message that you said before we end today. This is
Uh-huh.
what you wrote. So everybody know, and they probably already know, I do ask my guests to give one or two positive messages that you like to share with the audience.
Uh-huh.
And so Candice wrote, "You do not have to live in the spaces that broke you."
Mhm.
Tell us about that.
And that's the reality of the situation. You can acknowledge it, you can allow yourself to feel it, but baby, that does not have to be your permanent address. I say all the time, the places that places that broke me, that's 122 used to be Ave. I don't stay there no more. Now you can come
Mm-hmm.
visit me at 225 present place, or you can prepare to see me at 125 future Ave, but I don't stay there no more. I don't, because
Okay.
there's nothing there for me. That house is abandoned.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast about houses and renovating.
We just throw everything in. The furniture is gone. That's it. I'm done.
I'm done. I'm done. This going to put no trespassing in here. Okay, I ain't
I'm
getting in it no
done.
more.
That's
No, I'm done with this. Okay, but look. I wish we could talk longer, but Candace, this is my first time meeting you, and wow, I think I did okay with this one. Was what I caught you on Facebook, and I knew that I said, no, no, I want her on here and stuff, But I appreciate you being so real, so raw. Just stop it. Stop playing charades or whatever you want to play.
Hey,
I don't know. I don't know what you're playing. Whatever, whatever game you're playing. Stop it.
listen,
Okay,
you might as well
stop
be
it with your
yourself.
life. Stop
'Cause
it.
everybody else taken. You might as well be you.
Come on. Yeah, it's so much faking out here, and it's a license to fake nowadays. Okay,
Yes.
why
Yes.
don't you be real and raw and say,
Yes.
for one thing, I need to get help. All
Yes.
right. It is,
Because
it is, it is, let me tell you, a long time ago when I was growing up, you didn't even talk about therapy. Okay.
it was
Now it's
never.
glamorous and
Mm,
it's trending. Okay.
yes.
So go see somebody,
Yes.
right? If you're having problems.
Yes.
Okay. And sometimes if you ain't having problems, just go see somebody.
Yes.
It's all right. It's okay.
I, s- I
Let me just tell you, it's glamorous. Go
Listen,
ahead.
I say all the time, you take your car to a mechanic if it's having problems. You go to the hospital if your body is having issues. So it's absolutely okay for you to go see a therapist for you to get your mind right. You can't be
That's
expected
right.
to know how to handle what you were never taught how to handle. And you can't be out here just winging it when it comes to your mental health because your brain runs your body. Think about
That's right.
it. Hmm.
I really like that. I think I'm gonna close on that. Well, hey, listen, y'all. Y'all been y'all been listening to Girl Who Don't You Know, Marilyn Green. I am the hostess with the mostest, and Hey, do me a favor, like, subscribe, set that notification bell, okay? Because you ain't gonna get a podcast that's more real and raw than when I be doing chatting it up. Because it's just like we sitting down at a coffee shop talking, okay? Let's go on and break this thing down so you can get free, so you can be healthy, okay? So until next time, like I just said, this is Marilyn Green. You take care now. Bye bye.